笑わない。この身は常に勝利する。我が道の行く先には栄光を。その背には屍を。あらゆる剣も槍も我が身を貫くことはない。上昇の戦士の名はドロシー・イザヤ・エリスパ。この祈りでかの者は守護を得る。最悪に神は笑わない。かの者は常に勝利する。その時私の頭の中には一つの記憶が浮かんでいた。
Hello, 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 hello. Okay. So, Eisen, how's it going? Yes, I know people want to know where part 15 is. Yes, I'm still working on part 15. Okay. Hi everyone, how's it going? Like it says in the title of this broadcast, this is a report of some research that I've done. Please hold off any questions regarding part 15, the text and stories, till the end when I'm done talking about what I found. Now, if you check in the channel description or if you refresh your page, you see that I changed the description of the video. And you will be surprised about what the description is. So, it's like, at the same time, I'm only using the latest Sword Art Online game because it's like, you know what? I'm a fan of Sword Art Online as much as I am with My Hero Academia. But I'm just using this as background noise video. This is not what I originally intended. I ran into an issue with OBS. So, when I redo this segment of what I found with the research results I found, it is going to be hopefully a little bit better and a lot more going into of what I'm talking about. So, the biggest thing is that it's like if you see the description, welcome to the YouTube report of give me 1 second here. It's like I just changed it too. It's like, wow. Come on. It's like, hey, you know what? This is a pretty serious deal. I did a lot of research. Yes, I did this while I was working on part 15. Yes, I'm still working on part 15 to make it best I can. But this is also some of the reasons why it's like, you know what? Because it's like, I know you've heard me talk about Yuku stories, Eisen Gaming, Eisen, I don't know how to take that. I mean, like, cool, you're from Germany, but the second emote, I don't know how to take that. Now, you see, at least you understand it and you're somewhat laughing about it. But, it's like, how can I put this? It's like, I don't really have a second stream up right now. Oh man, I should really get disked up for this. But it's basically, welcome to report of YouTube plagiarism, abuse, and copyright issues. In it you can see that it's like, hey, there's users that steal content. Well, the reason why I say plagiarism abuse / copyright issues is because this falls under fair use regulations. Okay. First, let's talk about plagiarism. What is plagiarism? The practice of taking someone else's work or ideas and passing them off as one's own. There is an issue with that. Now then, can this fall under fair use? No, it can't. You might be asking, what does fall into fair use? Well, if you stop and think about it, what is fanfiction? Fanfiction is basically a story retelling, as well as taking stuff that somebody created, making it transformative. Fanfiction, fan art is a part of fair use as long as it is transformative. Now then, is taking somebody else's fanfiction a part of copyright infringement? No, not exactly, but it's still plagiarism. Now then, the reason why you have that big list is Yuku story / Uchiha TS, because he once posted in the community chat about, in his community channel, about their channel having 3 fake copyright strikes and made a second channel. Well, one of the things I've been doing is I've been going through and I've been reaching out to individual creators that they've been taking content from. Okay? I've been trying to get the permissions to use the stuff and everything else. Possibly okay users, Deku stories, Kumar texting stories, Jiro texting stories. There's a reason why I say possibly okay users. Because if you go to the section underneath that, users that might be the same person or group, you will see that I actually listed them. And there's a reason for that, because if you look in the video descriptions of their videos, they're starting to put the same thing about it. Now if you go below the users that might be the same person or group, you see content Yuku stories and Uchiha TS took. As you can see, I found that there's 16 users that they took stories from. Straight up copy and paste. But the number of series, whew, that's where it's like, what the heck? It's like, wow. Because if you do the count yourself, there's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 series that they took as their own. Kind of, you know, a big thing right there. I mean, they basically put in the entire Midnight Stories, entire It Shouldn't Matter If I'm Quirkless series, plus their follow-up series to that series. Not only that, but they started using, they took the Voodoo Deku video and straight up copy and pasted it. So, what does that fall under? Does that fall under plagiarism or copyright? Technically, it falls under more under plagiarism, because there's a thing with the fan fiction and copyright that it's like, hey, you have to be careful. Now, if we go into the copyright issues of YouTube, first rule of copyright: creators should only upload videos that they have made or that they're authorized to use. That means they should not upload videos they didn't make, or use content in the videos that someone else owns the copyright to, such as music tracks, snippets of copyrighted programs, or videos made by other users without necessary authorizations. Fan fiction and fan art does fall into the realm of, like I said, falls in the realm of fair use. That's because we're modifying the story, but we're also using things, but yet we're also giving credit to the original creators as we're doing this. Now then, what are copyright exceptions? Copyright exceptions are laws that allow you reuse someone else's copyright protected material without getting their permission, but only under certain circumstances. In the US, the most widely known copyright exception is fair use. When deciding whether your use is fair, courts look at 4 factors: the purpose and character of the use, the nature of the copyrighted work, the amount and substantiality of the portion used in relation to the copyrighted work, and the effect of the use upon the potential market or value of the copyrighted work. Some activities that may qualify as fair use include criticism, commentary, and news reporting. Fair use aims to promote freedom of expression. So is fan fiction and fan art a form of freedom of expression? Well, yes it is. Now then, if you go to civil law countries, including many of the Europe, more limited exceptions are recognized for the use must fall under specific categories instead of having factors that are weighed. The categories set out in Article 17 of the EU Digital Single Market Copyright Directive include quotation, criticism, review, caricature, parody, and pastiche. These words have their usual meaning in everyday language, but are also enacted into law by each member state and interpreted by both national courts and the Court of Justice in the European Union. Now then, other countries such as Canada, the UK, and Australia, a hybrid concept of fair dealing exists. The courts weigh factors similar to those in fair use, but reuses must fall within specific categories. These categories include quotation, general quotation, quotation for a purpose of criticism. Does fan fiction still fall under fair use in the UK? Well, yeah, it does. Let's see here. Most countries in the world have signed an international treaty known as Berne Convention, which allows reuse in specific categories, including for quotation and news reporting. Okay. Now then. If a how they enforce it. If a copyright owner submits a valid DMCA complaint through our web form, we take down that video and apply a copyright strike. If a user gets 3 copyright strikes in 90 days, their account along with their associated channels will be terminated. They also have tools to help creators resolve their copyright strikes, including waiting for it to expire after 90 days, requesting a retraction, or submitting a counter notification. The content ID works differently. If a match between a reference file and a new upload is made, a claim is made based on the preference selected by the content ID owner. They'll apply a policy, track, monetize, or block, but will not issue a copyright strike. So that goes into, hey, what is the main thing about this? Well, yeah. That's basically it in the short term. I mean, like, eyes and you got right there. I mean, 14, so it's like freaking 14 channels, and it's like, hey, but here's the thing about those channels I listed being stolen from, where content was stolen from. Go to Midnight Stories, for example. Okay. Look at their, it shouldn't matter if I'm quirkless. Tell me how long ago that first video of that series was posted. And then go to Yuku's stories and look at the OP Quirkless Deku series that they posted. When was that posted? You have 2 years for Midnight Stories, and then you have less than a year, maybe like a month or two ago, for the series on Yuku Stories. Okay, now then, open up both of those videos for the first one and tell me how far Yuku Stories actually goes and copies word for word each and every line from Midnight Stories.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I will tell you is that what Yuku Story does as well is that they take content of a series, multiple videos of a series from a user that originally created it, and they mash it together into one video. So you see, whereas the first video of the Issue Matter of Quirkless series might be about 30 minutes, and then for Yuku Stories OP Quirkless it might be about an hour. If you go to the second video of the series, it's the exact same thing in the other half of that first video of Yuku Stories. Okay. Another prime example is, give me 1 second here as this is going through. It's like if you really want a major prime example of it. Which one is it? Anime Chat Stories. Class 1A ignores Deku for 48 hours. If you go to Anime Chat Stories channel, and then Yuku Stories, you will have you will see that they have a 2 videos for Class 1A Ignore Deku for 48 hours. 2. The primary video and the conclusion of that. So, what does that mean? Well, like I said, if you click on the one for Yuku Stories posted, you have a major issue because it combines it. Look at the link for the 2 videos and look at the link for the one for Yuku Stories. Combine the links of those 2 videos from Anime Chat Stories. Okay. Now, like I said, the issue with this is more or less plagiarism. I can't say copyright infringement because it's like technically fanfiction falls under fair use, but here's the deal with this. If you do your own research and if you look up fanfiction and copyright, you will see that they have a major issue with this. The only reason that it would be copyright infringement is if they receive money from it, for the fanfiction. Now you might be saying, wait a second, what's going on here? You just said if they receive money for it. Guess what? Here's the deal with this. What most people don't realize is that it's like, technically I can write a fanfiction like I am now with the texting stories and everything else. And it's like, even though this fanfiction is my idea, I'm also basing off the original creation of My Hero Academia, for example. So is it right of me to make money off of it? Well, yes and no. The reason would be, if it falls under yes, is if I got permission from the original copyright of those characters, from the creator of that series. No, because I didn't. Now then, like I said, fair use can covers a broad spectrum of it. It has to be transformative. It has to be multiple reasons for it. There has to be a lot of differences. There's a reason why I still give credit to the original creators of Onimusha and My Hero Academia, as well as the creators of the fan art that I use for the pictures and everything else. There's a reason why I do that. It's because, hey, yes, I'm using it to tell a story, but I'm also using it to depict the story and give you guys used to do. Hi, Duststorm, how's it going? But my main thing is this. Okay. What Yuku Stories, as well as Indian TS, for example, is doing is basically taking fan fiction that's already been wrote up and made by the original creators of those fan fictions, and they're taking credit for it, passing off work as their own and everything else. I mean, it's a big issue, it's a big deal, because what does that do? Well, first off, it degrades the issues with the people that are writing those fan fictions. It's taking their content, it's taking their ideas. YouTube doesn't want to admit it, but it's like, hey, guess what? Now then, one of the things that I have been doing is I've been reaching out to these content creators that have been doing the original fan fictions and everything else. Like I said, if you do a comparison of the list I made of where the stories got taken, where the original stories got taken from, which will be that list of 16 individuals right there at the bottom of it, and then compare it to Yuko Stories videos, the timeline and everything is like, okay, hey, he's taking stuff from that's been posted over a year or 2 years ago and passing it off as their own. There's an issue with it. Because it's like, hey, what would happen if he started taking my fanfiction stories and posted it on their channel? It's like, hey, guess what? That's my work. That fanfiction is my work. There's an issue with it. I find a major issue with it. And then YouTube goes and monetizes it. It's like, really? No. Midnight texting stories and anime chat stories, they might have stopped posting videos and whatnot, but they didn't copyright strike me or anything. I actually know these two individuals. I've read their stories, and it's like I know them for a while. And it's like they've taken a break. They're not copyright striking me. Like I said, Eisen, the issue is that Yuko Stories is taking the stories that other creators made and is posting them off as their own. That's the issue. That is the issue. Like I said, I originally wanted to make a video of this. This wasn't going to be the original plan for the live stream, but the issue, there's an issue that came up with my with the software I was trying to use for the live stream originally, and it's like, hey, but it's like I said, if you're looking at, because if you look at what I do, if you look at my stories, even with my previews, if I got the inspiration from from another creator and another texting storyteller, what do? I give credit to them. It's like, hey, this is the ones that inspired me for the story. Such as with the Betrayed Deku story idea that I have in the works. Epic Texting Stories is somebody that would that I would put down as an inspiration for that. Because it might be somewhat similar, though different. So, just keep that in mind. Okay, I'm just going to proceed to this tutorial. But, that's the main thing. That's what I'm trying to do. That's more or less what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to point out. Because I've noticed some people that like my videos go through and praise them and everything else, basically for taking content and plagiarizing, passing off as their own work. Like I said, that's my main issue right here, is that somebody plagiarizes it. Plagiarizes work and everything else. So it's like, what's going on with this? What's going on? This and that. I mean, like, let's say, for example, if I was to... If I was to take Epic Texting Stories, Betrayed Deku series, and pass it off as my own, technically that would be wrong of me. That is what I'm trying to say. It's plagiarism, it doesn't fall under fair use. Plagiarism does not fall under fair use, and that's what I'm trying to point out to you guys. Because, like I see, folks, you readers, you viewers, everything, it doesn't matter if it's fan fiction or not. You shouldn't plagiarize and try to pass it off as your own. So, and it might be pausing the video.
Dark territory.
That's basically it right there, Eisen, yes. In short, some texting channels. Well, like I said, there was quite a few that's stunning. I'm actually trying, because I know there's going to be a part where it's like, oh, hey. But, so, it's like, that's it in a nutshell right there. Yes, there's some people that are taking content from other channels, people that originally created it. Like, for example, I have no qualms. Like I said, there's some people that are possibly okay, like Kumar texting, Jiro texting, Deku texting, because, hey, you know what? I can understand taking somebody's fan fiction, reworking it, using it as a skeleton, reworking it, and making it your own. That, I have no issues with that. But taking everything that somebody wrote, posting it line by line, and word for word, that's where it's like, okay, that's where I draw the line. And a lot of people are misconstruing things and going through things and whatnot. Now, give me 1 second. Now, what the issue is, should there be an issue if they are taking content that was posted 1 year ago, 2 years ago, posted line by line as if it's their own, making it look legit and it's their own? Is that okay? No, it's not. Technically, it's still an intellectual violation. I mean, and plagiarism works in different countries. For example, if you were to look up what is plagiarism in India or the Middle East, it will state that you may quote without giving a reference to anything that is well known. Wait, what is well known? Well, religious text, for example. Anything that falls into the category of religious text is well known. So you technically don't need to quote in India or the Middle East. Now then, you might be wondering why I say India or the Middle East. Well, if you look at the introductions that they do, the short snippets that they put of somebody in there, in which case at this point I'm willing to say it's a group of people or a single person for some of these channels. They have either an Indian or Middle Eastern person talking and whatnot. Now then, I say Indian or Middle Eastern because it's like, you know what assuming does, makes an R side of you and me, right? Well, it's like, hey, you know what? I want to say the accents that they have is Indian, but then again, it could also be Middle Eastern. And if you guys want to know something funny, hey, I've been getting a lot of spam emails lately because of this stuff that I've been saying about Yuku stories and everything else. So, the question is it still fan fiction if they plagiarized it? No, technically it's not. Ryan, I am still working on part 15. I'm trying to make it as best I can. Like I said earlier, this is like a pretty big... This is a pretty big thing about it, and it's like I said before, Ryan, I know you probably just jumped into the video, into the live stream and everything I did say earlier. If you look in the description, there's a reason why this is a pretty big deal. And Ryan, I think that you should be knowing about this. Because it's like, what Yuku Stories is doing is basically plagiarizing. Now then, is he copyright infringement? Well, yes, technically he is copyright infringement. Now then, you might be saying why. You might be wondering why. Well, let's say this much. Okay. Okay, that's just the beginning. Freaking. Remember what I said with fanfiction and fan art. Is it fair use? Yes, it is. However, there's a realm when it is not fair use, and that is when you receive money without the people that of the original copyrighted content that you used as a base. See what I'm going with here? So, not only do they plagiarize, they are copyright infringing because they are receiving money through YouTube via this. Now then, what does this mean for YouTube? Well, it means that once the original creators of content, for example, My Hero Academia creators, Crunchyroll, once they find out about this, they might be like, oh, hey, you're screwed. YouTube. Now then, there's copyright claims and copyright strikes and everything. There's a difference between claims and strikes. Strike says, hey, we're going to remove this video. You do this again, we will we will shut down your channel within 90 days if you get two more strikes. Claims is like, okay, hey, you know what, this is fine, it's mandatory, it's fine, you're talking. For example, like with Final Fantasy VII Remake that I did a few years back, they made a copyright claim on quite a few of my videos with that I live streamed. I had no issues with it. Now the issue that I might have had with it was people making the copyright claim, but it's like, hey, you know what? It's neither here nor there. But that does mean, hey, this video is horrible. It's copyright infringement all the way. Take it down. No. What a copyright claim does is like, hey, this is our content. It's okay for you to use it. There you go. That's essentially it in a nutshell for a copyright claim. Again, with copyright strike, if you get 3, guess what? You're taken down. Now then, what does this mean for plagiarism? Well, I think NerdSync actually, the YouTube channel NerdSync actually explained it better. Matter of fact, they made a video about it back in May. Okay, plagiarism on YouTube is rampant. It is very, very rampant. Now, one of the things I've been doing is I've been trying to reach out to these content creators, the original stories that Yuko Stories took, and I am taking things, I'm trying to get in content with them, let them know, hey, I'm making a video about this channel that's taking your content. Do I have permission to use your channel? So far, I've only received the okay from one person, and that was Epic Texting Stories. Okay, like I said, this was not my original intent for today's live broadcast. I was not originally intending to use a video game as a background and whatnot to talk about it and everything else. But because of my software, hey, OBS is letting me down. So I'm looking into that, seeing if I can fix it. And yeah, I'll probably upload an actual full video of this, as well as looking into other software that I can use to make a video. With that being said, it's like, this is a major issue. Okay? Because, like I said, there's some people that's like, it's fine. It's like, because they take the skeleton of the story, of the fan fiction story, and they use that as base, and they make as many changes as they can to it to make it their own. Like I said, if it's practice, I have nothing against it. Just make sure that you state, for example, Jiro texting. If you look at their very first videos, they say, hey, Broken Deku inspired by, in their channel title, in their video titles. There's nothing wrong with that. I have nothing against it. What I am against is just taking somebody's video, somebody's content, and going through it. Okay. Bye, Eisen. Hey, Eisen, I'm sorry it's late, but have a good night. Ryan, go ahead with your question. I know you have a question. And I just saw that. I apologize. Okay, so your question is, with text stories still copyright if they say this is not by me, I am not the owner of this idea or MHA, but support the original MA? Technically, no. Now then, if I'm right, if I remember correctly, you're from Australia, correct, Ryan?
人海との会談に応じると返事が来ました。それが和平会談は暗黒会で行うということだ。人海側は敵地に乗り込まざるを得ない。
Now then, if that's the case, and if you're from Australia, I'm not too sure about the copyright laws in Australia with fair use and fan fiction. Okay, so no, you're US. Okay, fine. That's even more perfect. No, they cannot copyright it. Ooh. Indiana. Haven't been to Indiana in years. But no, it's not right. Even more so in the US. US is kind of like I said earlier, prior in the live video. Fan fiction and fan art falls under fair use, but it has to be transformative. It has to be different. Now then, for example, say if I was to receive money for my fan fiction that I write. If I was to receive money for it, that would fall under copyright infringement. That's the copyright infringement right there. Because there's no longer fair use. However, there's a flip side to this. Say, for example, I reached out to Toei Animation, the original creators of My Hero Academia. I reached out to Capcom, the original creators of Onimusha. And I asked them, that you can't do. It might not be a copyright infringement if you do that, but that's like plagiarism. That's plagiarism. So say, for example, you took my story, you did it line by line and everything else. It's plagiarism. Is it technically somewhat fall under copyright infringement? Yes and no. But the plagiarism does not fall under fair use. Like, say if you were to take one of my videos that I made, put it line by line, Ryan, I could technically hit you with a plagiarism infringement. And it's like, the only way that it would be copyright infringement is, say, if you received money for it. That's the gray area of fair use. Okay. And like I said, this is one of the lines that it's like, hey, you know what? That worries me is that, and it's also part of the reason why it's like I'm taking so long to like make it Part 15 be like the best that it can be and everything else. Because I've noticed that some of the users that subscribe to my channel and whatnot are going to Yuku, going to other channels that like take other people's things, fan fictions and ideas, line by line, uses them line by line, word for word, and everything else. They straight up, and they're supporting them. It's like, why would you do that? I mean, the funny thing is that it's like, as I'm going through and I'm doing this research on Yuku's stories, for example, and all their series, I realized that they took from 16 storytellers, for example, and straight up mashed videos together, word for word, line by line, except for maybe the introduction and the intro and the outro of those stories and those videos. And it's like, really? What are you doing? You're basically taking everything, mashing multiple videos together of a series from another user, from another fanfiction writer, passing it off as your own work, and it's like, hey, So it's like, where do you draw the line with it? Like I said before, Ryan, I can understand like taking the skeleton of a fanfiction story, modifying it, using it, and as well as you give credit to the original fanfiction writer. Well, yeah, that's more or less what I'm saying. I mean, like I said. However, guess what? For example, Yuku Stories does. They don't do that. Like I said, I reached out to the 16 channels that they took content from. Went line by line and everything else. Because if you look in the video description, Ryan, now then I might have phrased it wrong by saying the channels, the people that Yuku Stories or Uchiha Texting Stories took content from. I might have phrased it wrong. I should have probably phrased it plagiarized. But there are 16 channels. 16 texting storytellers that he took series from. Some he took multiple series from. Now, I didn't go too far in depth with going through every video of Yuku Stories and everything else. But it's like if I had to bet, I'm willing to bet that what this person did was take every single series that they saw was doing better than him or them, and take copy paste, and make any changes to it or whatnot. And it's the exact same thing with Indian TS. What Indian Texting Stories was originally doing was downloading video and just straight up posting it. So Yuku Stories and Indian Text Stories are the text story is the same thing. Indian Text Story is the same thing. It is the same person. Okay, so that kind of proved my theory right there. Wow. Because the only thing I had was Yuku Stories and Uchiha Texting Stories were the same person. I had an idea that they might be the same person, but it's like, hey, guess what? I have no proof. I have. Now then, what I say is okay for you to follow him. Honestly, it's your call. And I'll be honest, it's like, hey, it's your call. The thing is, though, if you follow them, that means you kind of support them. You kind of, I mean, like, you might not be intending to and whatnot, but it's like, to YouTube, that means you support them. For example, if you subscribe to them, you like the videos and whatnot. And that's how people get monetized. They look up their videos, they look up their... They see how many people subscribe to a channel, they see how many people like the videos, they see how many people do that. Now then, like I said, if I was to go further into the fair use of fan fiction and fan art and copyright infringement into that category, unfortunately, YouTube would be paying a lot of people money. And I'm not talking about the YouTube people that make videos on YouTube. Well, here's the thing, Ryan. Look up Epic Texting Story. Open up another tab, go to YouTube, go to Epic Texting Stories. And then go to Yuku Stories. Okay. Now I'll tell you this much. The story that comes from Wattpad isn't there. This Betrayed Deku series from Epic Texting Stories isn't on Wattpad. And that makes it even worse if they're pulling it from Wattpad, because it's a Wattpad account their own. Is it someone else's? Is it... I mean, like, you get the point, right? I mean, like... Hey, you know what? They might be a nice guy. But yet, if they're pulling it from Wattpad, there's an issue. That's still technically plagiarism. Because if you look at what plagiarism is, it's... How do I say this? It's basically intellectual theft. Now then, the thing is though, if we look at the regions for this, like I said before, he might be Indian, he might be Middle Eastern. Plagiarism does run rampant there. Epic Texting Stories. Okay. Now then, as far as I know, Kumar is somebody that might be part of the same group as Yuku and Indian TS, or the same person. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on it. But no, Epic Texting Stories. It's fine if you don't follow Kumar, but if you don't follow Epic Texting Stories, like I said, Epic Texting, as in text with ING at the end, and then Stories, not all one word, but spaces between Epic and Texting and Stories. It's a different channel. Okay. Now then, the main thing I'm trying to say is that the main thing that I'm trying to say is you just have to see that if you look at the Betrayed series and then the one that Yuku posted, you would see line by line. So, but it doesn't matter if they haven't posted a video in 8 months. That's what I'm talking about. And Ryan, I hate to say this, they are still around. They are keeping an eye on their channel. They are coming up with ideas for their channel. Because so far, Epic Texting Stories is the only one of the 16 users that I received a response from in regards to this. As a matter of fact, they're even thinking about contacting YouTube. It's like, hey, you monetize this channel for taking my content, plagiarizing my content. And it's like, what's the deal? So, that's the main thing that I'm trying to point out. It's like, hey, these people are starting to see it. I mean, the one thing I'm willing to tell you this, Ryan, is of the 16 channels that I listed in the channel description, in the video description, of those 16 channels that I listed, about anywhere from half to 3/4 of them, I have subscribed to them. Which means that it's like, wait a second here. There's an issue here if I'm seeing this. Why is this going on? Who's doing this? Why is it going this way? What's going on with it? You get what I'm saying? So it's like, does it mean that it's like, hey, just because they haven't posted a video in like 8 months or a year, or they take a story from a year and whatnot, or 2 years ago, and they copy paste it, reuse it as their own without giving credit to people, is that okay? Now then, like you said, no, it's not okay. So it's like, hey, guess what? There's an issue here. And the main issue is that it's like, hey, you know what? Even though it might not be copyright infringement, there is plagiarism. Okay. I mean, like, Ryan, how would you feel if somebody took the fanfiction that I've been writing, a fanfiction that you say that you enjoyed, and posted it on their channel as their own work? How would that make you feel? You see? That's the thing. You know, I say, okay, Jiro, I just hope there's a reason. That's the thing, though. It's like, there might not be a reason. It might just be, oh, I'm just doing this because I just want to make money, and this is the quickest way I can make money. So you see, oh yeah, you would be mad if they didn't have a very good reason. Like I said, I can understand if they're reposting it, be like, hey, this person needs to get attention to this. I'm just doing this, get this person get attention to this channel. I can understand that. Like I said, I can also understand if they're doing it for practice. And they're taking the skeleton of the story, the outline of the story, pretty much. Making changes, making their own and whatnot, as long as they give credit. Like I said, there are things that I am okay with. There's bits and pieces that I would be okay with. But taking somebody line by line, somebody's story line by line, word for word, copying and pasting it, or downloading and reposting it as their own, that's where it's like I draw the line. Because it's like, hey, you know what? There's a fine line between fair use of fan fiction and fan art, as well as copyright infringement, as well as, hey, there's a fair line between practicing writing and storytelling and whatnot, and using the skeleton of outline. Yes and no. So, the example you gave, I am hitting writer's block and I'm just borrowing this until I get a better idea. Yes and no. Yes and no. Because there's an issue with that. Now you might be wondering what that issue is. So, say for example, remember what I said. Plagiarism is intellectual theft. So, would okay. Does so okay, so say this again in regards to 15. I am still working on it. I'm still working as best I can. And I am still trying to get it as done as quickly as I can. As we're going to be posted, I'm hoping within the next couple of weeks for sure. But hold off on any questions about this fan fiction that I write, or stories that I write, until I'm done going through this. This type of live broadcast was my original intention for today. So don't worry me if you read in the video description, there's an issue going on YouTube right now, especially with the texting story community about plagiarism and whatnot. So it's like, hey, there's issues. I'm addressing some of those issues, and it's like, hey, there's major things going on with that. But back to the writer's block for Ryan, the comment that you mentioned. Yes and no. As long as they give credit and say, hey, this is not my original work, I'm borrowing this to give support to another channel, there you go. I can possibly say that's okay, but the issues are that it's like, hey, guess what? That's still there's still things going on. There's still some issues with it if they don't give the proper credit to the person that wrote the original fan fiction, right? So it's like the biggest thing is that you have to say, hey, how can I put this? I'm trying to figure out how to put this. It's like, hey, basically I'm taking this entire person's video, copy pasting it onto my channel. However, I'm giving them credit. If you like the story, please go give them a like or whatnot, subscribe to their channel and whatnot. That's fine. That might be fine, but it's still somewhat borderline. Now then, say taking the entire series, repost doing that same thing. No, that's not fine. And I mean, like, it's... Oh, Duststorm, trust me, I'm hoping it works out well myself. And then, alright, I'm glad that you understand it. Because it's like this. A better way to explain it, let's say if you did a texting story, right? Of a series, and you got within as part as I did with working on part 15. Let's say if I took all of your videos, either downloading it, copy and pasting it, working off my own, that would, I mean, bad enough you're not receiving any money for it. Ryan, I hope you have a good night. I know it's pretty late over there, and I hope you stay safe. Oh, you get a cat? A cat or cats? Because to be honest, yeah. But they're so pretty. They're so good partners. So, but no, it's like, I mean, like, I'm not part of the reason why I said that's like, hey, if you guys remember a few live streams ago, I said if I start a Patreon, I'm actually going to be posting a novel on there that I'm writing myself. Well, yes, I'm still looking into starting that Patreon, but technically with you guys donating there, you're not paying for the fan fiction that I write, you're paying for that novel that I will be writing and everything else. That's the main thing right there. Now then, let's say that if I write this novel, if I put that novel up on Patreon, somebody takes it and puts it off as their own. What can happen with it? Well, technically, is it somewhat copyrighted? Yes, it is, because technically, I'm receiving money for it. It's my own property. Now then, if somebody takes it off as their own, while I'm not receiving money for it, there's an issue. Because if you look back at it, what was it? Rocky 4? A screenwriter sent something to Stallone about it. A script to Stallone, and parts of the script that the screenwriter sent to Stallone was used in Rocky 4. Well, is that copyrighted content that was taken from that original screenwriter? If you look at the court, no, it's not. Court's decision on that, no, it wasn't. But is it technically plagiarism? Well, yeah, it is. Because if you look at what Stallone did, he took part of something that somebody used, but he didn't give credit to them. Form of plagiarism, intellectual. Now, that being said, we have multiple things going on with stuff like that. How can you do it? How can you avoid it? How can you get through it? Well, the easy way is, 1, you can report it, 2, you can go through it, or 3, you can ignore it. But yet, most people won't ignore it. So, but anyways, that's enough about that for right now. Like I said, I'm going to be working on a video displaying everything and whatnot, going through things here and there. So let's get on to making this a game about the game and the channel, my channel itself now. So, in case you guys might be wondering, hey, Sword Art Online Last Recollection. This came out maybe a week or 2 ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. And it's like, hey. Now that a lot of people don't like Sword Art Online because video games because of the genre that it comes from. I'm not going to call it what some people call it because it's like, hey, some Japanese developers don't like that. And it's like, hey, they consider the term JRPG an insult. Now, the main reason why I bring that up is because it's like, if you're as old as I am, you would realize that it's like, oh, hey, people, we've played Japanese games back for the longest time. I mean, like, come on. Nintendo, first video game company that made the home console, whatnot, besides Atari. And I'm not going to refer to Pong, because that was kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy for one console being set up for a game. What else is there? But for the longest time, role-playing video games have been around. Is more or less what I'm saying. And a lot of the good ones were made in Japan. For example, the original Final Fantasy VII. That was originally made, right? Well, with the original Final Fantasy VII, nobody called that a JRPG. It was an RPG. Now you might be wondering, when did JRPG become such a derogatory thing to Japanese developers and whatnot? Well, the biggest thing that most Americans don't like is the lack of action. Yes, you heard me. Like I said, lack of action. For example, this became big when more widely known about the different concepts of American viewers and Japanese viewers when Dragon Ball GT came out. Because if you look at the original American release compared to the original Japanese release, a lot of episodes were cut out from the American release. Big issue right there, right? Because you cut out a lot of stories. A lot of the story from Dragon Ball GT. That's because, like I said, Americans like more action than storytelling. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Now, if you're as old as I am, it's like, okay, hey, a lot of storytelling and whatnot and a lot of repetitive. This can go a long way. No fall damage, yes. Now then, what ends up going with that? Well, there was some RPGs that came out a while back. I say a while, but it might be a few years and whatnot. That mainly focused on storytelling, and a lot of American people were like, okay, hey, this is an RPG. This is a JRPG. Well, like I said, it's not necessarily... They probably didn't mean anything derogatory by it. But it's like, hey, that's their main way to tell the difference and whatnot. Americans, we can be a-holes. But, going on, a lot of people don't like the Sword Art Online because it goes through a lot of storytelling and whatnot. Not necessarily a bad thing. But, it's like, hey, in regards to the story, hey, it's a good story. Now then, I would say the main thing that I would have to say is that I don't like is that with Sword Art Online is that it can take forever to level up. That's the only thing I might not like about Sword Art Online games. Because I mean, like, here I am, I'm able to fight. I'm wasting away like level 50s or 60s, but it's like I'm stuck at level 30 because it's taking forever. Well, it's like, hey, what can you do with that? So it's just like, hey, take your time and everything else. Now then, I might not like the term JRPG. That's why I refer to this game as an RPG. Because it's like, hey, if you're as old as I am, you will find out then, looking back in our teenage years, we played RPGs and whatnot, and a lot of RPGs that have been favorited have been from Japan. So it's like, hey, how can you say it's like horrible and whatnot? Now then, the good thing about this game right here is that yes, you do get somewhat of a bonus if you played the previous installment of this game series. You get a bonus sword. Give me 1 second here and I will show it to you. Some of you might have seen me equip it, some of you just came in might not. So, give me 1 second. Yeah. Dog tutorials. This is the sword you get from the previous, from having a save file of previous installment. Now then, Good news is that if you haven't bought this game yet and you're looking forward to buy this game, you can get the demo. Whatever you do in the demo will translate over to the game itself when you start playing the game itself. Now then, what will transfer over from the demo? Any items that you picked up will transfer over. So for example, say if you had the sword, you got this sword from the game save of the previous game, it will transfer over with the save from the demo. Now then, another thing you might be wondering is, what else will transfer over? Well, your levels, any affinity you built up with the characters, will transfer over as well. Now then, differences between the demo and the... more or less the limitations of the demo, I should say. The highest level you can get to in the demo is level 10. As for what the affinity might be, I don't go that far. In the story, the highest point you can get to is right before chapter 2. Last game. Come on. There we go. Is that the statues, for example? The statues in the last game would give you quests to do, like kill X amount of these enemies, kill X amount of those enemies, talk to this statue, and then you get another subclass unlock, that type deal. Instead, what these statues do, they give you a chance to go undergo training, and they have you go through a short tutorial. Okay, now then, some of the things might not give you the thing that you need, but they will give you items. They might not always give you experience. They don't always give you whatever the currency is for the game, but it does allow you to get some practice in and whatnot if you need it. For example, like the skill connect training. It gives you practice for it. Now then, say if you need that practice, that can help you out. Now then, now then you can either, if you're on the PlayStation, you can just hit the center button and it's like, hey, boom, you can cancel it. But you don't get anything for it if you cancel it. Let's see here. Wow. I mean, I'll be honest, this is one that I never completed. That I haven't completed yet. Now, if you're just starting out, key thing to doing these is just, hey, you build up money, you build up experience, and then you also build up your items. Any extra items you get will go to your temporary storage. So it's like, hey. Now, like I said, you have time. You get time. You have a certain amount of time to get it done. And the easiest way to put up your SP is just keep attacking. Or you use an item. Now then, there's an SP charge that you can use. Yeah, I'm not gonna make that in time. But if you're playing through the demo and you're just starting out, yes, you can kill things, you get experience. Now, the one thing they do recommend is that if you are using demo to level up and start in the game, hey, it's not necessarily a bad idea. The one thing you can do is just, how can I put this? These enemies right here. Now, I might not be able to fight this enemy right now. As you can see, he's level 13. I'm at level... I'm at level 3. So would it be wise to fight this guy right now? No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. So, well, what should you do? Well, go and level yourself up. Go and do that. Because, here's the thing though. I'm just gonna skip that tutorial. It's annoying. So, if you're wondering what it was about tactical commands. This is your tactical command. You basically just tell them, oh hey, boom. That's it in a nutshell right there. You do what I want. And of course, to build up the infinity, it's like the nice is still there, but you're not able to spam it like you were in previous games, for example. So it's like, hey, guess what? The ally skills are pretty well known. For every action you have them take, you lose ally. Now you don't want to use that too much because there is an ally skill attack that you can do, as well as a defense. Yes, you fuckers can Now, the next thing is you just want to go through and do stuff. Now then, like with that spider, there's another controller there, you just have to kill that big animal there. We're not going to do that yet. Chambers are pretty easy to do. They normally pop up on their own. Like right there. Come on, come on, come on. Die, 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 die. I missed the chance for a counter. Now, to counter, the skills are pretty self-explanatory to tell you what you need to use. Like right here, I need to use the charge attack. And I used the wrong one. Man. Watch your ass. Now, like I said, statues have changed a bit. Another prime example is this one right here. These ones will give you tactical links that you can use. Actually, what I need to do is go back. So, if you're playing a demo like you saw me do some side quests earlier, they're pretty much easy, self-explanatory. This will be like, it might seem slow, but this will be like your first level up area. The reason why I say this is because this guy right here, don't fight him until you're at least level 6. I think when I first did the demo, I was maybe level 5, level 6. Now, you might be wondering, hey, are there ways so that you can boost your experience gathering and whatnot? Oh yeah, there is. The best place to find those, however, is back at the camp. So, first thing you want to do is go back. Once you go to this area, just go back and go back to the camp. Because what that would do is, there's an area that you can access before that you should be able to access now. And that will also give you something called another side quest that you can do. Like what you saw me do earlier, just go through and find things. Come on, load. There we go. Now you see the feather with the number, with 200 number shrinking. That's the side quest. If you see a feather, there's side quests there. You might want to go there. Now, like I said, there's a reason I'm going here now, because I couldn't get there earlier. Because I had to wait for a certain point in the story or in the game for something to be unblocked. Notice that there's no boxes here anymore. Yahoo! Unlock you. Yep. Now this one is kind of like, oh hey. Well, I already touched the topography stone, so it's like I don't need to do it now. But if you go here, you see this is a rare blade. Might not be the best, but there's a reason why it's like I'm going to buy this one. Because it's just like, hey, you know what? I want... It has the potential to come up with a skill. Now that I might not have much money, it's like, hey, I got 8,000. This boosts up your experience. It only lets you buy as many as you can. Go ahead and buy 2 of those. That would boost up your experience for 30 minutes. The Nada blade that I just bought, for example, if I had it, if it had the skill that I was hoping it would have, if it had the skill that I was hoping it would have, you would have another experience boost right here. But unfortunately it didn't, so hopefully once I go there, come back, it'll have one that I want. Now then, box I can't get to. Don't fret. Because as you can see, oh look at that. That are broken, no. See, I got the box. Now then, the thing with the accessories is, yes, each one is different. Each one is will have the I want to say the same buffs in a sense, but the stat values might be different. The stats that would be getting buffed might be different, so if you're looking for certain stat buffs, just make sure that you have the one on that you want to buff. I would say the biggest thing is, most definitely, if they have the skill, go ahead and put it on. If it's HP boosting, put it on. The biggest thing with equipment is that if it has a skill, what color is the skill and everything else. For example, if it's green, that means, hey, you just need to put that equipment on and it works automatically. If it's red, you need to equip that skill. Okay. So you're still gonna make me go to the info stone, you bastard. Wait a second, I'm going the wrong way. So, main reason why I say do side quests is, hey, they give you more experience, they give you more cash. That's the biggest thing right there. With the demo, as far as I can remember, you have 3 side quests, mainly do with this area. You saw me do the other 2. This is working on the 3rd one in this area right now.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's going to make you go to that even though you already went to it. So luckily, with that being said, it's like, hey. A lot of these side quests will be a lot of back and forth. So, because for more, this game is Sword Art Online Last Threat Collection. This is the latest in the Sword Art Online series. I apologize, I just saw that. If you're still here, I'm sorry, I apologize. Like I said, if you don't have enough money to get the version of the game of this game that you want, hey, there is a lot to do in the demo alone. The limitations of the demo is that leveling wise, it stops at level 10. For the affinity, I don't know. But let's say if you get a character up to max affinity. For example, if I get Alice here up to max affinity, Alice is the blonde girl here in the golden armor, I get another set of special armor for the visualize. A lot of you might be wondering what the visualize is. Well, let me show you. Go to equipment, visualize attire. Visualize is I can make any weapon look like anything I want it to. Or the clothing. Now then, some of these sword skins come from the fact that I pre-ordered this game, and it's also I also got the deluxe version of it. Now then, with the demo, these two were here. So it's like, as I said, you get some default if you want to change the look right away. Hey. But let's say if I got Alice up to like max affinity, I get a special skin for her. That I can put on. And that happens with any character. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Gotta go there. Now you might be wondering why I'm doing this stuff. Like I said, side quests. Not running around with side quests. I just went the wrong dang way. So yo. Hold on. At least the good thing is, with this one compared to the previous installment, there's no fall damage. Oh, so much running around. Like I said, this is one of the main reasons why a lot of people don't like the Sword Art Online games. I don't mind the running around too much, it's just that it's like back and forth kind of drives me a bit nuts, because it's like, oh, wait a second, I can do everything at once in a game. But no, there's different parts that you gotta do. Now, the one thing I will say is I'll only cover the portion that's covered in the demo for this time around. So it's like, hey, can you... Which, yeah, no, there's a lot that goes on in the demo. Like I said, the max limitation is, for the level is, you can only get up to level 10. Might be a downside, but hey, that transfers over to the game when you eventually get it. Anything affinity level wise, I don't know what the max affinity you can get to in the demo. I didn't really experiment that far with it. Items that transfer over, any equipment, any items, any cash amount you got in demo transfers over from the demo to the game itself. So like I said, is it horrible that you can't buy this game right now and play it? Not necessarily. Like I said, if you want to, you can use the demo. You can use the demo to get a head start. That's nothing wrong with that. Now then, like I said, experience boost. I can put experience boost on all these characters I have right here. And this will help boost up your level. Might be only a 10% boost, but hey, it boosts. A boost is a boost. And that's gonna be the main thing with this game. With this game is that you want more of a boost than anything else. Because going through this, you just want to try to get as much experience as you can. And as you can see, level 1, I'm level 3 currently, last I checked. Oh no, level 4 now. Come on, let's go. Now then, you just saw that I got a skill point. Nothing wrong with that. I don't think I can go through the skills menu yet. Give me a second, let me finish off this guy real quick and I'll see. So I can't go to the skill tree yet. I can go to the skill palette, which allows me to edit things, but only to a certain extent. Okay, so like I said before, this is level 13. Currently at level 4. Yeah, look at that HP, man. But now there's a reason why I want to fight this guy. And it's not just because of the experience and the amount of cash you get for beating him. It's mainly for the item you will get. Now then, that item you get is actually a piece of armor. That's the downside to it. Is that there's a main reason you want that armor though, and that's not just because of the stat boost you get for the defense and the attack. Freaking. But the main thing you'd want to do is go through and get oh man. is because of the skill that it can come with. That's the main reason right there. Now then, as you can see, it goes to a character that I last had this icon on right here, the silver icon. The gold icon is your main controller. So if the one that you're mainly controlling goes down, it just goes to the one you had the silver icon on. So now you can easily switch that back. Now if you don't have the skill break, you can just do the switch. That'll stun them. They still have that wet ball, huh? Now, the one thing I will say is the downside to this is that in the previous game, you had skills that would like inflict things like status things and whatnot on the enemies. You don't necessarily have that with this game that I've seen so far. Now that you've asked me if I've beaten it, no, I haven't beaten it. The reason why you see me constantly going through and doing this thing is seeing if anything pops up a skill that I can do the nice on. But if I want to force it, I can just use the tactical menu. So, oh yeah, come on, come on, come on. This is the main reason why you want to build up that bar. Because you can actually get something that can actually do multiple attacks, stun the enemy, break them. Juggle them around. Another way to do that, build that up, is you have to do the nice thing for the allies. Now, kind of surprised that these aren't fucking sprouting up more. Maybe I need to get the affinity up. As you saw there, that just healed me all the way. That's a good thing about the other part of the ally skills. But it does take down draining on your ally skill bar. Poor Uchiha, I'm just making him the scapegoat of everything. Now, I will admit, if you're at my level of fighting this guy, it will take quite a bit of time. But once you get down to below 1,000,000, once you get their HP down below 1,000,000, for any one of these bosses that you find, field bosses that you fight, you're more than well on your way to get them below 1,000,000. I think I missed it. Come on, let's go. Now, the downside is that if you're looking at rarity of items, yes, the difficulty level of the game does play on the rarity of the rarity level of the items that you get. Like the equipment, for example. Ooh. What the fuck? Yeah, that was a waste of a switch. What the heck, Uchiha? You screwed me over. Now then, the good news is that if you can't beat him at this point, you're near level 4, if you step out of the red circle, it will revive your allies and whatnot. Now, the downside of leaving the circle is that any damage you've done to them gets reset. So that's the downside to this. Come on. Almost there to the final countdown. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Final countdown. Ah yes, thank you, Yuchiha. Did a good thing. Good. Come on, get your attention off me for a bit. Oh, this is back, yes. Haha, beat him, yes. Now then, this is the army that you want. Now then, if it had that skill on it, you would be getting healed for every struck you made on them for about 100 points. But it's still pretty, but it's still pretty much better than your basic ones that you get. Now, the neat thing is that it is that boss is farmable. So yes, you can fight him again, you just gotta wait for him to respawn. That's about it. So just bear that in mind. Map. Now then you can just use world map to fast travel. There's a reason why I want to fast travel back real quick, because I want to see if the one row sword repopulated, if it did with the skill. Let's do the time warp again. So nope, I didn't want to switch characters. Go talk to this merchant again. Did it? Nope, it did not. Yeah, it's not a good stat boost. It popped up again, but it didn't have the skill that I was looking for. But anyways, so I can probably show it to you here in a second. If you give me a second here. Let's see here. Treasure title, brightness. So, the skills that I am talking about, I will show you in one moment. I just gotta load into my original save. Chapter 9. Oh boy. So, just show you. So as you can see, I have green items on some green skills on my icons, right? That's on my weapons. So as you can see, what this skill does is that the remnant will one with the decided paths on their art. Its power grants HP and SP absorption and increases skill activation speed on an emergency dodge. So, like, it says on an emergency dodge, but you get the HP and SP absorption regardless, as long as you have this equipped. The skill speed is for the emergency dodge only. Now then, like with the Essence of Surprise, if I'm behind an enemy, I get a critical rate of plus 5%. Rear attack power goes up by 5%. This is actually, if I remember correctly, let's see here. I want to say, no, this wasn't a quest item. I want to say it was a quest item, but don't quote me on it. I get attack boost of 5%. Then this one, on break gauge increases plus 1, and on sword skill, break gauge increases plus 2. Now then, like I said, if they're green, they're automatic. If they're red, you have to equip them. But that's all. I'm pretty sure you guys are getting bored. So I will be trying to make a video going more in detail about the issue that I talked about for the majority of this live stream and everything else. And we will be, hopefully you viewers will like it, see it, like it, and whatnot. So, stay safe, have fun. So, hang on. Sorry about that. Stay safe, have fun. I will try to get part 15 out as soon as I can. The next live stream I plan on doing, if I get part 15 out or not, would be when Persona 5 Tactica comes out. It'll be a straight up look at how it is, how it feels, and what it acts like, and we will go from there. So I hope you have had a fun time, stay safe, and again, enjoy life.